Okay, good morning, everyone. Hold on, there we go. We have to go through, yeah, it's not letting me discard the post, so we're just going to go up here, go live. Sorry about that. Okay, great. Sorry about that. Ready? Okay, all right. Try that again. All right, so, all right. So, good morning, everyone. Okay, so we'll try this again. A little patience, practicing patience. All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. My name is Kanipo Bakwa, Standing Bear Soda Tribe Fishing League, First Nations, Saskatchewan, Canada Treaty, Fort Territory, Anishinaabe, 60 Scoop Survivor, published author. Welcome to We Are the Medicine Circle, which really just implies that we are the medicine. That means no one's in charge here. Circle medicine, that means I'm in the service of this circle and I'm in the service of the Great Spirit. So it takes me out of any kind of leadership kind of role. That's not something that I want to be. It's not something that I aspire to. I don't want to be like the leader of this thing. I just want to be in the service of it. So that the really big spiritual differences is really what we look like. Beautiful braid of sweetgrass here. That was a question the other day. This is all of us right here. This is what we look like. And yeah. So yeah, and so if no one said that they love you today, I love you very much, which just simply really means that I just want you to live your best life, right? Connected to all those beautiful, powerful medicines that life has to offer. That's all that means. It's not any kind of. There was a comment the other day. It's like, well, what do you mean by love? So going into it just a little bit, it means there's not like any sort of agenda type thing. Like I don't want to take anything from you, but allow you the space to grow, to love, and to sit together and to pray together. And that's really what we mean. Leave it to the colonial world to marginalize, to corrupt, that kind of that beautiful medicine. So. Anyway, a couple of housekeeping things here. Connections. So if there's a lag in the audio or visual, or there's like you get a spinning wheel of like death, just know that I'm not going anywhere. That I'm going to hit that play button again. Also. On Facebook right now, it's not allowing me to tag anyone. So if you're not tagged, that's the reason why. It's just the way Facebook is. So we have to deal with that. If you don't want to be on Facebook, we are over here on YouTube. So standing.
There, the office.
Standing Bear, the author. Yes, thank you. Standing Bear, the author. So go please like and subscribe. We have a couple people over there now. So welcome YouTubers. Welcome everybody. So we are here. Um, and let us begin. Let us begin in the usual way here. We have, let's get a little smudge going here. And if you could, and you know, we remember this, we say this all the time. We want to remember the prayer of the grandmother out in Vancouver, which pretty much stated that let's keep this smoke going throughout the morning circle in remembrance for the residential school children that never made it home. And I would just briefly add the and again I would just briefly add to also keep the families in your prayers also, because there's a place of loss, mourning, and grieving there. So let us simply remember that. And so please give me a little thumbs up, give me a little heart if you can kind of keep that going for us today. And let us begin in the usual way here. The elders say, if it doesn't begin with prayer, then it doesn't begin. If it doesn't begin with spirit, then it doesn't begin. So let's begin in a really good and beautiful way. If you would like to offer with me, and what we offer, if you don't know, a little pinch of tobacco for our prayers to be heard. So let us, a little help from above, a little guidance from above, and a little earth medicine. So let us. Amen. Kitchimana to all my relations. Chi Megwich for our breath. Chi Megwich for our circle. Chi Megwich for this day. Chi Megwich for our life. Our life. We come here and we celebrate life. We may come here for many reasons, but it's always the first reason to celebrate life. All life, not just our personal life or the life of this circle, but all nation circles and tribes. We are grateful for the breath of all our brothers and sisters. We come here today. We mean no harm in what we do. We are grateful for our last breath, and we are hopeful for our next. And we live in that place in between. We come here, we sit, Wankapik, to sit in a sacred way, to listen in a sacred way, to learn in a sacred way, to honor each other in a sacred way. So thank you for this day. Thank you to all those things that have given us life today. All those nation circles and tribes, like the Standing Nations, the ones that offer the world breath, we say thank you. To the Fish Nations, ones who teach us how to live in harmony and balance with the water. To the Wind Nations, ones who teach us how to live in harmony and balance with the wind and air. To the Creepy Crawlers and the Slitherers, ones who teach us how to stay close and grounded to Mother Earth. To the four-legged nation circles and tribes, where we understand that you teach us so much about our humanity. You offer us so much. So we're grateful for this. And of course, to other two-legged nation circles and tribes, where we understand that you are teachers as well. It makes our ears and our hearts very happy. We come here, we celebrate those things that give us life: air, water, fire, and earth. We pray for these as if we were praying for ourselves. We pray in all seven directions because we know wisdom comes from all seven. Life and wisdom and love comes from all directions. So we want to celebrate that. We celebrate the ones who have come before us, our ancestors. And remember, if they are our relatives here, which they all are, then they are our relatives over there. So we come from a million points of light and love, prayers, courage, wisdom, strength. So we don't come from a place of weakness. We come from a beautiful place of strength and love. We also understand that some of our two-legged ancestors were hurt, wounded, abused, and traumatized, and they passed that along to us. And we understand this is a time of grieving and mourning. We understand this is a time of healing. And we understand during this time it's okay not to be okay. And we are here to sit with you, to honor your journey. And we also understand that those hurts and wounds that they gave to us was not for us to carry, but for us to heal. And not just for ourselves, because that would be selfish. We are here to be selfless. We do this for the next seven generations, for we only borrow this earth from our children, and our children are only loaned to us. So we live in this beautiful intersection between two unseen worlds, a place of great privilege and honor it is to be alive. To break the chains of violence and addiction, abuse and trauma. We can break those chains right here, right now, in this very moment. We can say not anymore and align ourselves with the Great Spirit. These beautiful teachings, this red road, the road of wellness, the road of all people, the road of love, and the one that brings us all together in harmony and balance. And on this road there are teachings: humility, love, truth, honesty, respect, courage, and wisdom. Brought to you by the wolf, eagle, turtle, sabe, buffalo, bear, and beaver. Connection with earth. So let us sit with these today. Let us honor these today. Let us make good relations with both seen and unseen. The wolf and humility. We sit with these today as if we were sitting with our brothers and sisters, because they are our relatives. This world is full of allies and partners. Mother Earth wants us to do well and be well. Let us honor that prayer. Let's honor the prayer of life. And let us add prayers to Mother Earth. Let us be thankful for Mother Earth and all the wisdom and all the medicine she has to offer. And understand that behind these wisdom and offering, there's medicine for us to live a good life. So let us come here today, sit in this beautiful circle, and maybe we will come closer to this beautiful thing, harmony and balance. Where we move humanity when we sit in this time, in this place. We make humanity better for what we are doing here. When one person aligns their heart with another, humanity is better. So with all these people in the circle today, we move spiritual mountains. We align our hearts with that one single prayer of harmony and balance. All right. Okay, good one this morning. All right. Well, welcome everyone. My name is Kanipo at Makwa, Standing Bear, Silver Star Fishing Lake, First Nation, Saskatchewan, Canada, Treaty 4 territory. 60 Scoop Survivor, and there was a comment on that. So just to kind of address a comment before we go on, so because I'm thinking about it now. So I talk about the 60 Scoop as a place of merely as a place where I've been as part of my story. Because I mentioned it does not mean that I have not recovered from that. It just simply means, hey, that's part of my story, and we are allowed to tell our truth. And so that is part of my truth. So the 60 Scoop, if you don't know, is when the Canadian government came in, particularly up here in Canada, it's coined here in Canada, they came in and they stole Native, Indigenous children, babies, and infants from healthy homes, families, communities, and put them in foster care, which is where I ended up. And then it was a human trafficking thing, and then I was human trafficked to a white family in the States. That's where I get my last name, Snellgrove. So anyway, we come full circle. Anyway, I came back in '03, and yeah, so here we are. That's the short story of it. And so, no one said they love you today. I love you very much. So let's begin in the usual way here. A couple of things before we start in earnest. Um, Hollow Bones. That's why we are here. That's why we are here. So Hollow Bones is our alignment with life. Really, that's another way of putting it. So we understand that there's a life force out there. We are aligning our thoughts, prayers, actions, life with uh, that those prayers with life. That means, it's all medicine. So basically, what that means is that everything we see, hear, touch, feel is medicine, right? And it looks like, and it is that life force. So it looks like a lot of things like this. And like my usual go-to thing is the sunrise, new beginnings, new light, new love coming out of the dark. It's really beautiful. So it's not just like a sunrise. It's never just anything like that. That every sunrise has something to offer you. That's what Grandfather Tony, my elder, taught me. 30 years ago, and something that sunk in really 4 or 5 years later, because I didn't really understand it, right? So what we have to do with this hollow bones is it doesn't come by osmosis or photosynthesis. We have to be physically present there to feel this to feel, hear, understand, connect to the spiritual meaning of it, right? But that's what we do. So that proximity thing is really important. So we spend time. A price has to be paid. We have to go there. We have to uh, have that beautiful prayer. Just sit there. Just sit there and just listen. Prayers of gratitude, offerings of gratitude, and thank you for that life. It really opens up that spiritual door. That's why we offer. That's why we offer tobacco for our prayers to be heard, because we want that connection. We live in a world where we're not really connected to anything. We're going to talk about that a little later. But how we really learn how to listen is really begins by being grateful, and then making that offering. So it has to be spiritual and then physical, right, together, to make that really work. So we can hear things, because we live in a world where we don't need to offer anything, right? They have a patriarchal God, which is just like, yeah, whatever. So I need. It's like Santa Claus God. I need. So Santa Claus God, we're put in a position of begging, which is really a place of weakness, right? Well, we don't want to do anything that promotes our weakness. We want to do everything that promotes our connection. It's a completely different conversation, right? So that's why we do that. Hollow bones. So we connect to that life force, right? And there was a comment the other day. Well, like, how do we know we're connected to it? Well, you know we're supposed to be happy. I don't know if you know that. I didn't know that, like growing up in the colonial world, like we're supposed to be happy. We're not supposed to live in misery. If you're living in misery, that's just medicine to tell us, hey, look, as Pops would say, a gentle course correction, and do those things that align us with being emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and physically happy. You know, when Pops told me that 30 years ago, it was really profound, because I thought we were here to suffer, right? We're supposed to be in spiritual debt. That's what that colonial religion does. A lot like, well, we gave you life, now you owe us, right? Kind of thing. We're supposed to be in emotional debt. We're supposed to feel bad. We're supposed to be in physical debt. The banking system. We're supposed to be in physical. We have to beg the pharmaceutical companies for our health, right there. It's like really twisted, right? But over here, and this is just contrast medicine. That's all that is, right? So we realize what that is, and then we come here, and then we align ourselves. Hollow bones. That's why we're here, to align. We are here to align ourselves. We and ourselves, right? So they are intimately overlapping and connected. So anyway, let's go on to ancestors and elders. So it's really traditional to thank. That is a direction too. So that was a question you had. Well, what direction is that? So we kind of add that to formally the opening prayer. It's, hey, we need to physically thank those that come before us and really realize what they have offered us, because it's it's more than just life. It's just life is beautiful, powerful, and so we should be grateful and thankful for them for giving us life. But they also gave us so much more. And that's why we go over to make that good, beautiful, to be good relations, to make that beautiful, beautiful connection. Right, right. They have offered us great courage, fantastic, incredible courage, right? Not just life, not just they didn't spit us out and be like, okay, good luck now, all right, bye bye. There's none of that, but that's kind of like the way we feel because now we're in this like colonial world. There's like left, right, Democrat, this, guns, violence, and all this stuff, and we're like, oh my God, what's going on here? Well, really, they when we spend the time sitting with our ancestors, we understand how beautiful and powerful they really are. But until we do, we will never understand. So they gave us great courage. This is like the Cliff Notes version, right? So you know what's already out there. You know great courage, right? Right. That means the courage to change, to love, to forgive, to pray for our enemies. And that's just the very beginning. That's like the tip of the beautiful iceberg that we get to experience and love in this lifetime. So thank you to grandfather Tony Stonehawk. He's my direct elder. Been with him for 30 years. Thank you to all those other men and women, Muslims and Kokoms over at Fishing Lake First Nation who have guided me in such a good and beautiful way. And really to all those other men and women of medicine that I have sat with around the world. And this has to be said too. Grandfather Tony gave me one of the greatest pieces of advice. He said, go sit with as many elders as you possibly can, which really rubbed me the wrong way, which is like, because 30 years ago, I was just an angry, drunk guy, right? And then I'm like, Tony, you're my guy, you're it, I'm following you. I will not listen to, and he said, no, that's not the way of the circle, because there's so many right ways to do it. And thank God I had a little bit of willingness, and I heard him. I said, you know what? Okay, it didn't feel good, right? Sitting with the Apaches and Chiricahuas and the Paiute and all these beautiful men. But then I'm like, and he said, look for the ways that we are similar. And I'm just like, oh, that's pretty cool ceremony. It's like, I really like their songs. I really like the way they set up the lodge. I really like the way they honor life. So they honor life in a really good and beautiful way. And there's so many right ways to honor life. You can have, like if you're a particular First Nation or tribe, you can honor your way, but it's not dishonoring by learning other ways, right? So just, hey, look, so it's just another beautiful way, right? Right. And again, you don't have to adopt it wholesale. Nobody's asking you to change. There's nothing like that. Just say, good, that's another beautiful way to do that. Thank you for teaching me another beautiful way. And really, that just saying just that opens up some really, really beautiful doors that we wouldn't see, hear, feel otherwise, right? I'd be like, wow, that's another beautiful way. Look at that. Wow. You know what? And it really opened up those doors when I sat with the brothers and sisters shamans down in South America. Right? They have some beautiful teachings because their perspective, because they're physically in a different place, their perspective is physically different, right? Right. So they view the earth differently, right? Right. That's why we go with the like the hawk medicine, hawk or eagle, right? The hawk or eagle, because they have a different spiritual perspective than we do, right? We don't say one hawk is more better than the other, so why would we do that with different tribes and traditions? We just say, hey, that's another beautiful way. Thank you. So, anyway, circle medicine. No one's in front of us, no one's behind us, no one's above us. No one is below us. That means we are all equal here, and that's where the conversation starts. And that's where it ends right there. We're talking to your brother yesterday. But what if they do this? What if they do that? All right, well, you're bringing up contrast medicine. It's just kind of like, well, people are allowed to learn and to grow. People are allowed to make mistakes, right? It doesn't feel good. It's not right. And people just come up to me and say, well, Hitler was, Hitler walks in the room. Well, I'm like, well, they're not in alignment with life, right? Catholicism not in alignment with life, right? Religion, patriarchal religion, not in alignment with life, right? So, not in alignment with that beautiful life flow, those things that bring harmony and balance. If it brings disharmony and disbalance, and what we're supposed to do at that point is pray with them. If we can't pray with them, then we pray for them. And like if you struggle with one or the other, then they're not the problem. You are. A little bit in your face, but that's just kind of that's just kind of the way it is, right? So we change them by changing our view of them, right? So that's the deal, and that you can write down here. Let me pull that up. Boy, that's this. So the other thing I was talking to my friends about was how do we protect the truth, our truth, by living it. And so when we are aligned with that spiritual truth, then we are protected, right? So the truth protects us. Again, we're going to talk about that today in the reading. It's one of my favorite readings. But I love you. I know I say that all the time. Right? I just love you, and today's it's just a good day to have a good day. It's a good day to be sober, good day to be happy, good day to So, okay, sacred feminine. Okay, the life givers. Okay. So the life givers, you are beautiful, powerful, sacred. We understand that world does not, the colonial world, and this is just contrast medicine. I'm not creating any kind of adversary like day and night. We understand that. It's very clear, right? Our ancestors knew that there's day and there's night. It's not good, it's not bad, it's just different medicine. It's like discernment medicine, right? We don't have to label it. We have to be really careful with labeling anything evil or bad. That's another conversation we had yesterday. Well, they're evil, they're bad. Well, yeah, that's like nobody knows that more than traditional indigenous people here at Turtle Island, because we were like the latest batch to be the invaders, and the invasion, right? So anyway, sacred family, you are beautiful, powerful, sacred. You have that beautiful womb. It's just different medicine, right? So that is a place of great honor. So thank you for being the life givers. Thank you for bringing this medicine to the people. Okay, question of the day, comment here. So I posted something recently about pretendians, right? So and some people, and you know what, one of those things is I didn't do this in like an adversarial thing. I don't do this to create drama or to create. This is just contrast medicine. So we really have to understand what this is, right? Because there's a lot of confusion out there, right? So like it feels icky or things or like, those are the questions that I go after first. So there's a lot of other questions that I was looking at until this one came up. I posted that thing. And so pretendians, okay, right. What is it? Right. And I posted that thing from Pam Palmater, right? And she nailed it on the head, so I'm going to steal her words. And this really has to do with the truth. So everything is involved here. Pretending, not being authentic, right? Taking up the places and spaces, the voices of Turtle Island, and just specifically Turtle Island here, right? So that means there's people that say that they're indigenous to, and usually some sort of self-promotion, like they're like doctors or lawyers, and they get somewhere, some status with being, they create the illusion, basically a lie, that they are something that they're not, right? So the real medicine, real teaching is, well, if you're not, then you're not, and it's okay to tell the truth. Like, if you're not, we are the most marginalized people on Turtle Island right now. To take up spaces and places, to saying something that you're not, is just ethically, and morally wrong, if we want to use that vernacular, which I don't really like to do, but it's not. So the difference is, the rub is here, we are looking for allies and partners, right? Just because you honor the way, because you honor the ways does not make you pretendian, right? You're not pretending because you're honoring. So there's a big difference between saying that, oh yeah, I'm full blood, Cherokee or something like that, and putting yourself in a position, well, where you get some emotional, mental, physical, financial benefit from that, right? And so now you're like the voice of the Cherokee people, and you're doing this. Well, really, you're just like Italian, and like you're Italian and Moroccan, and just taking them this way. So um, that's really what we mean. So we are looking for, shift gears a little bit. So we are looking for partners and allies. That is a medicine wheel teaching. We want to sit with you. We want to pray with you. That does not make you a pretension, right? And we talked about this the other day. If you come from a different tradition, ethnic background, that is a beautiful, beautiful thing. Own that. Own that. Say, hey, look, I am Greek, Italian, North African, right? Right. I honor that. But I also want to come here and sit with you and honor your ways, because I really appreciate and love the indigenous teachings. That's beautiful. We love that. That does not make you any kind of pretension, right? We love you. I will sit with you. I will pray with you, man. But the fact is, and we've been talking about this a lot. That is beautiful, powerful medicine that you bring to Turtle Island. Let's not water that down. Don't move or change your fire for any reason, right? Mm-hmm. Like if you're a Greek, Italian, whatever it is, bring it here, and so you carry that ancestral fire, and when the ancestral fires come together, that's what makes us better. Mm-hmm. That's what makes us better. Don't come here and say that you're Italian and say that you're Cherokee and say, well, because that's not in alignment with life. You are dishonoring your ancestors when you don't own who you are and where you're from, right? I love you, right? But to be authentic, bring your fire here. We need your fires. We need the separate fire from all over. That's really part of the medicine. That's really living the medicine when we all come together, right? When we all come together, and we need you to be authentic and true, aligning yourself with the medicine, with your own medicine. It does us no good for you to come here watering down your medicine, to pretending to be one of us when you're not, right? Right. 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 And if you're trying to find your heritage, right, like say you took a DNA test and say like there's some sort of heritage, like that's okay too, right? You're not a pretendian then. Just basically come here. Say your prayers. Say I'm come here to honor the ways, right? I'm honor Mother Earth, right? I'm here to honor the culture of Mother Earth. Right, that's a beautiful prayer. That's where everything starts, right? Right. It's really that simple, right? And someone says something to me about labeling. You're labeling us, and I'm just like, look, man, that's kind of being adversarial, right? Like if you want to go there and then label yourself who you really are. Don't come here and sit next to one of us and label yourself indigenous when you're not, right? That's simply what I mean, right? And it's okay to say you want to be an ally and partner with us, because that's what we need. That's what we're looking for, right? Right? And that's also very beautiful too. That's beautiful, right? And again, the mere fact that we get to sit together from different origins and background, ancestral background, that makes the human race, us, the circle, that much powerful and stronger. And that's just a beautiful thing. That's just a beautiful thing, right? So own that and honor that. That's all we're asking, right? That's all we're asking, right? I love you, man. I really, really love you, man. So, like if you're like German, just say, oh, it doesn't matter, right? Like the only problem people have with it's this way, like we're all people of Earth. Why don't we just sit in the same circle, right? It's really that simple, right? Own your origins, and you will find your fire. You will find your voice. When we say it's some sort of like spiritual bypass, when we say, well, I'm German and Norwegian, but I want to pretend to be something that, no, what it really is own your origin and come here with us, right? Own it. because you have beautiful, because, indigenous ancestry, Turtle Island isn't any better than yours, right? When you bring yours, right, you will remember your ancestry, your songs, right? But you can't do it unless you don't come here and state it. I love you, right? I love you. I love you. So, I love you. So, anyway, we are here, and the reason why we're here is to go over a couple books. Here we have Whispers from the Hollow Bone right here, and we have Daily Medicine. We pick a reading. We take a reading, and we sit here. We talk about it. We pray with it. We pray together. These are Medicine Wheel 7 Sacred Teachings, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to read this a couple of times, develop a general impression. That's a Tonyism, which is now a Bearism, kind of like a spiritual. Should I tell you that story? I'll tell you that story. So I'm sitting here, I'm thinking like, let's say your grandfather Tony, I'm sitting here, hey Tony, I'm thinking about doing this thing, online thing. I don't really want to do it, but Spirit's talking to me, and go, yeah, we'll just do it. Okay, so he said, well, we're going to read it, we're going to go over it, and then Tony's basically said to me, called me out and said, well, where's everybody going to start? And I'm just sitting here thinking about it. Tony, I have no idea what that was. Really just like that. I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about, Tony. Well, he was. So Tonyism was like, well, give him a general impression, because that makes it that much more powerful. So we're going to read this, develop a general impression, and that's just a starting point. This is not about right or wrong. We have to leave that at the door. Mm-hmm. This is about just like say, like you're not like familiar with the Red Road, the road of wellness, the road of Mother Earth. We are all people of Earth. Maybe we come from colonial refugee, colonial thinking, patriarchal religion, refugee type thing, and we really just don't understand. But here, and that's not, and that's the beginning. But the end part, we're looking forward thinking, because prayers are always forward thinking, is that we align ourselves. And that's the beauty. And that's when humanity really changes. So we're coming here today and we're changing humanity. So it doesn't matter if it's 30 people or 3 people. We are changing humanity because we are aligning ourselves with what? The truth. And we've been talking about, this is all we talk about all the time. It's just one underlying theme. It's the truth. And the truth is love and alignment, and aligning ourselves with the prayer, the first prayer of harmony and balance of Mother Earth. I love you. So let's go ahead and read this. And if we could put Whispers from the Hollow Bone, October 9th. Did I tell you that already? I didn't tell you that. Okay, so I don't know if anybody put that in there, but if someone could put that in there, please, thank you in advance. So, Whispers from the Hollow Bone, October 9th. Our minds will find it hard to rest until we have spoken our heart's truth. Wow. Wow. Our minds will find it hard to rest until we have spoken our heart's truth. Wow. Wow. This is mind-blowing, right? What is your general impression, right? We're just going to run over today, just so you know, because this is so beautiful and so powerful. We can't not talk about this. So, okay, all right, let's jump in. Hour. Mm-hmm. We, us, and our. Boom, right there. Boom, right in our. This is us right here. This is when we say our. This is what I want you to think of right here. This beautiful, powerful medicine. This is us all wrapped together. Heather, Kimberly, Danielle, Shanda, Donna. This is all us wrapped together right here. Our. We are both seen and unseen. This is the ancestors. This is the future 7 generations. This is all the wolf, the eagle, the bear. This is all everything, all life. This is what we look like. This is what all life looks like. We are intertwined and overlapping. Our. That means it's all inclusive. Right? That's what that means. Like, we come from a colonial world where we're constantly excluding each other and separating each other, and just like it's we're going to talk about it, and it really talks about it here. When our is a place of power, and I need you to write that down. Right? English is a really bad language, right? It's a colonial language. It's a common language, but really, once we take a look at it, it doesn't hold. It's really poor. So that means one word has a lot of meaning, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a really bad language because then you can dissect, you can move, you can manipulate and control with like that one word, and that's what the colonial world does, and that's what it is. So they created a language where they can manipulate rather than coming here and connect to. But like a broken clock, English is like right twice a day. So when it's right, let's own that, use that to our benefit, right? So we take what works and we leave the rest. That's being spiritual, right? So we, us, and ours. So when we do that, this is what I want everybody to think about. This is who we are, what we are, and how we're supposed to do it, both seen and unseen. I love you. Okay, our minds. Okay, so we talked the other day specifically about emotions. Now we're talking about what minds, mental, what we think. Okay, so the medicine wheel is spiritual, emotional, mental, and physical, right? Those are the four quadrants. This is a basic medicine wheel teaching. So spirit has brought us right here. They're specifically honing in, excuse me, on one aspect of the medicine wheel, mind, what we think, how we think. You know, so it's one of the four quadrants, right? Okay. How? No, sorry. Our minds will find it hard. Okay. What does that mean to you? Our minds will find it hard. Right? That means we're having problems focusing, thinking. That means basically at the end of all that means our alignment isn't there. That means we are scattered. We can't focus. That means, like I had that. I am a colonial refugee because I am indigenous, brought up in a colonial world. And it's really confusing. It's designed to be that way. It's designed absolutely opposite of the human spirit is to we are supposed to be sitting next to each other and sitting praying with each other and for each other, and that's exactly the opposite of what the colonial world really offers. It offers this great separation, right? The belief that we are all different and separated. So it comes, it's this, that, religions, left, right, Democrat, Republican, conservative, liberal. It's designed to be. They have an adversarial model, and I need to write that down. That's just, and this is not right and wrong. This is simply contrast medicine, a healthy discernment. That's what it is, right? Right, we don't have to feel anything with that. That's what I mean, right? Just because it's bad, it's like, oh, we get all angry. So, well, no, we don't have to do that. We just say, hey, look, it's dark outside. It's not anything other than that. Hey, that's, it's dark. It's dark over there, right? That's okay, right? That doesn't have to affect the way we think, right? It's darker. Okay, good. Let's move. Let us move to a better place. That's really what they're saying here. We will find it hard, and really, they're speaking to the individual, and they're also speaking to humanity at large, right? Because we have a thinking problem, right? We really do, right? And there's a belief system that they are injecting into us. Again, that place of separation, and that place of separation, if you feel lost, lonely, scared, afraid, terrified, then you are buying into the system that they are offering. They are literally spiritually injecting you, with this. And because of that, so if you feel that way, this is not a place of blame, shame, guilt. This is just a simple place of recognition. Hey, that's dark medicine right there. I don't think I want that dark medicine. I think I'm going to make a better choice. I think I'm going to come here. We are the medicine. We're going to make a better choice. So let's make a better choice. Right. our minds will find it hard. And that means difficult, right? You know,
Mm-hmm.
so if we live in that colonial world, we're going to have a difficult time trying to focus in on this place of love and unity because we're distraction, distorted, discredit. You know, that's the medicine of the colonial is to do all that distort, distract, and discredit. That's what they do, and that you can write down. They do that in every sense. They almost do it. It's almost like they plan to do that. It's really just like, that's their model, right? And it's just darkness. We don't have to label anything other than that. What we really need to do for change is to change ourselves and our thinking and the way we walk in honor, the original prayer. So our minds will find it hard to rest. Okay, what does that mean? That means serenity. That means serenity, stillness. That means we're able to sit there and just be happy with who we are, what we are, and how we're doing it, right? Right. And we're back to that place called we're supposed to be happy, and that's how we do that, right? You know, right? Right. Right. We're supposed to be happy. That means we're supposed to have serenity. That means we're supposed to live in alignment with what was beautiful place of stillness and love and the seasons and the sun. That's, you see, that's why Grandfather Tony said, well, why don't you introduce yourself to the day? And that's why the 30-day challenges, right? They're really doing a beautiful, powerful job because we start with gratitude. Gratitude aligns ourselves with life. And that you can write down. If you don't, if you're not grateful for life, then you're probably someplace spiritually, emotionally, and mentally something else, somewhere else saying this life is terrible. I am suffering. This is like we think we have demons in our head. The religion says, well, if you're not thinking right, then then something's wrong with you. And the more we think that, it's like, oh my God, there's like 18 squirrels on my head and it's running around, and then we run to the doctor and said there's 18 squirrels, and then the doctor, the pharmaceutical company said you are diagnosed with bipolar. Instead of being aligned, they say, well, okay, you're schizoaffective. Let's give you some medication so we can make money. When really, in actuality, what we really need to do is sit here and align ourselves with the truth, the fact that we are all equal and that we are all one. I love you. Let's start there first. Let's say, and people that come to me and say, well, look, my thing is if you're indigenous or if you're not indigenous, I say, when's the last time you went to ceremony? When's the last time you prayed with Mother Earth, for Mother Earth, on Mother Earth, right? When's the last time you sang songs? And when's the last time you danced? When's the last time you were, when's the last time you did this? Let's start there. Let's start sitting here and aligning ourselves with life instead of aligning ourselves with something else, right? Right, the pharmaceutical companies. And I'm not saying, and this is like the lawyer coming through. I mean, this is not to say that's not that you may be on the spectrum, but let's start everything first. Let's eat healthy. Let's watch our spiritual diet, emotional diet, mental diet, and physical diet. Let's start there first. That's what they're saying here, to align our minds. Let's start there first. Let's start eating right. Let's stop eating the garbage, right? There's very little food in our food anymore, right? And I'm going through that transition too because I like what I like, but it just kind of, so I'm going through too. So I'm sitting right there with you, right? Mm-hmm. I'm sitting right there with you, right? I'm about to get real fired up. So. So basically, the teaching behind the teaching here is there's a fork in the road here. There's a fork in the road. Either, it's about choices. We're not being tested. It's simply a choice of what we want to do. There's darkness, but it's really we walk out of that darkness with the things that we do, the actions that we do, right? It's one thing to praise, another thing to walk with, right? Mm-hmm. So our minds, right? So it's hard to change our minds if we don't walk in the right direction, right? Right? That's like there's that thing about whistling in the dark and just being like, okay, it's like there's power there, but it's not really powerful. It's not powerful enough to me. So once we walk in a certain way, so everything that we do spiritually, emotionally, spiritually and physically, they have to mirror each other, right? Right, right. It's one thing to want to get sober. It's another thing to do the right things to get sober, right? Like that's what I mean. That's a really basic kind of thing, right? So, oh, and a lot of us are like in that colonial mindset, which really, at the end of the day, again, and it's really clearly marked that sadness, loneliness, depression, anger, frustration, all of these things are the mark of living in a colonial world, right? Right. So, okay. So I think we covered that. So our minds will find it hard to rest, stillness, serenity. We're supposed to be peaceful, serenity, harmony, and balance. That's what we're supposed to be, right? I don't know if you know that, but that's what we're supposed to be, right? Until we have spoken. Oh my God. Here we go. They're talking about our once until we. There's we, us, and our again. So when the Spirit says it once, let's pay attention. When it really says it twice, then hey, look, and then it's really just kind of like that spiritual, I'm going to smudge your face until you really notice what's going on here. So repetitiveness is the Spirit telling us, hey, look, let's pay attention here. So the rest until we have spoken our heart's truth. Okay, so it just got really big, really powerful, really dynamic because until we have spoken our heart's truth. That means they're talking about alignment here. So alignment is, truth is what? What truth are they talking about here? Let's talk about the first truth. And they've talked about the first truth here 3 times in one beautiful meditation of we, us, and our. Truth is one of the 7 spiritual teachings. It's verse 7. Humility, love, truth. But in that order, that's the way grandfather taught me. Humility, love, truth. Okay, right. So you can put any word in there until we speak our heart's love, or until we, any one of those works, they just spoke. They just put truth is here. The truth is we are Mother Earth. The truth is we are all related. The truth is that we should all be honoring life. The truth is we should all be sitting together. The truth is you should be honoring your ancestry, no matter who you are, what you are, or where you're from. The truth is that we should all be sitting together in prayer, in harmony and unity. We should be speaking that. And oh my God, it says spoken our heart's truth. So they're very clear here about what we should be doing and how we should be doing it. Like there's no miscommunication here. There's no missteps. There's no way that we can look at this and see it any other way. This is beautiful and powerful. If you want to change your life, start here. Start here. Like if you're upset, angry, lonely, maybe you're drinking, and we have to take a look at this. Like, if we're angry, lonely, scared, afraid for a long time, then we're going to do other behaviors to relieve that. And that's drinking, drugging, that's whatever that is, just shopping. That's like, what they call retail therapy, just going out buying. So we're buying into that distraction, right? That's really the behavior is a distraction, really, right? That's all that is, right? They call it addiction. They call it a disease. I don't call it that. I'm just calling it a distraction. But let's move ourselves. Let's focus, refocus, retool, and to do something beautiful, like sitting together, right? Hey, I love you. I want you to have a really good life. I don't know how many of the circles that you sit in that they say that. Hey, I want you to have a really good, beautiful, powerful life connected to spirit, right? We're supposed to be happy. Write that down. We are supposed to be happy. We're supposed to live in alignment. And the fact is, like once we live in that world, like then we get angry. Oh, well, look at what they're doing. Oh, my God. Look, oh, my God, they're doing some unsavory thing. Oh, my God, look at that. Oh, my God. Chaos, calamity, and crisis, that's what they bring. right? So we shouldn't be so shocked that people that live out of alignment are doing things, genocidal things, murderous things, right? Right? The worst thing that you can imagine. That's what they do because because they're living simply out of alignment, right? And really talk about this. I talked about this all this time. In Europe, was about, and I for some reason I was talking to doctors of psychiatry, psychology, right? And really, the first wound, the tear is from the colonial world. It's not teaching us the ways of earth, right? So they're taking us spiritually, emotionally, mentally, spiritually away from the way of living a good, beautiful, powerful life, connected to all those things that give us life. So no wonder why we get twisted, we get sideways, we start talking funny and doing all these other behaviors that we manifest because we're not living the ways of earth, right? Really that simple. I love you. Smudge your face. I love you guys. But it's really that simple. So the way that we change them is to change your prayers and the way you walk. And here's the beautiful thing is we will demonstrate to them by what we're doing over here, right? So if we want to change them, we change ourselves. That's the paradigm. That's the paradox there, right? They will feel. We live in a feeling. You and then be like, wow, what's going on over there? There's like We Are the Medicine. And they got this crazy Soto guy like going ranting on, and he seems really angry, but he's really passionate, right? I'm passionate about life because these are the things that brought me back from the brink, right? 17 suicide attempts, right? That's the deal because I was trying to live in this world like that was tearing me apart, thinking that I was living a good life and replacing serenity with a house, you know. So I'm trading my happiness for a nice car. That is idiotic and insane, right? And I'm not saying that you can't have that and end all that. I'm just saying let's start with aligning ourselves. Let's sit in ceremony. Let's offer that fire. Hey, I'm grateful for life, man. Let's do this thing, man. Let's do this thing. Let's us do this thing. You understand? And this is not like, well, let's, you know. So that means that we have to include everybody. It has to be all inclusive. That means we pray for our enemies. That means we pray for the pretensions. Bring that in here, right? These are really some sick people, right? Pretending to taking up places, things it's really another form of genocide, right? So, really passionate about keeping the circle prayerful, right? And allowing the hollow bones to flow through. Right. I need you to take a big deep breath. I'm looking at myself. So, okay. What time is it? Oh my God, we're actually kind of almost on time here. So let's read this again. So let's kind of remember, those of you who wrote down your initial impressions, let's kind of go back to that. And let's just take a look at that now. And so basically we can all go back to our heart to be like where do we start? And now where are we ending too? And there's one woman that always says, she pops on here a couple times a week and says, well, I really wish you would talk about the takeaways. Like tell the people, because I want to know what everybody else's takeaway is. So, okay, so she contacted me last night. I've been here for like a week, and she's like, well, I really wish you would talk about takeaways. So what is your takeaway? What are you going to take away here? What are you going to shift, change from what we are doing here today? Our minds will find it hard to rest until we have spoken our heart's truth. Right. Should I talk about the heart? Okay. The heart is where our prayers, that we really walk the prayers, right? Right. Right. And the prayers, and now the basically the prayers we walk with are what we do every day, right? Right. Maybe you're living in a separated, or maybe you're going to, like a Lutheran church after this, right? Well, that's a place of separation, right? Right. Right. you know, what we hear, and this you can write down. What we do every day are the prayers that we walk. Right? And write that down. So, like, if you're wondering what your prayers are, look where you're going, look what you're saying, look who you're talking to, and then is that in alignment with the heart? Is that in alignment with the original prayer of harmony and balance? Is that in alignment with we are all equal? Is this alignment with I will pray for everybody? I will pray with and for anybody. Once we get to that beautiful place, then really, then our truth opens up. So we have to speak our truth, walk our truth to understand the truth, and that you can write down. So it's not like we can go to someplace, watch a TV show, and then all of a sudden find our truth. No, we have to both spiritually and physically walk that truth to open up that beautiful door to see what's really going inside with us right here. Like, are we really walking the way of like harmony and balance? I don't know, right? I'm still trying to find my way, right? I've been doing this a long time. The earth is 4.5 billion years old. I've been here for what, 52 years. Like, what do I know? So I'm still at the very beginning of a child of the universe, really finding my way. And I've learned a few things along the way. Thank you to Grandfather Tony and all those other elders for really bringing me what this truth is. And now, so it's up to us to really walk that truth. I can't walk your truth, right? And that's a colonialism too. It's just like, well, a lot of people are rageful about what's going on in the world and activism, and I think that's a really important thing. I really do. Speaking your voice, speaking what's, that's a good thing. But before all of that, I'm not dismissing that. What I'm saying is that when the more powerful thing is, and this is the difference between the seen and the unseen, is when we walk in our own truth. We walk in that place of unity. So when we walk into a room, they already know, because we are all empathetic, right? We live in a feeling universe. We already know. So it's like when the elder walks in the room, it's like the anxiety level just goes down. The one that's really been doing this for a long time, when the grandmother's in the room, it's just like, okay, everything's going to be okay. That's just the way it is. I didn't understand that first because I didn't grow up with indigenous elders. I grew up in this place of calamity, crisis, and chaos that is the colonial world. Like you turn on Fox News, they are just repeating the same old thing. But they are just repeating the same old thing. I can remember I was back in the 90s. I was a Atlantic City lifeguard, right? And there was a guy there, lieutenant there, like he didn't read, like he didn't read the newspaper at all. He was just tired of everything, right? So we're having this conversation. I said, well, he just said, well, I don't read the newspaper. I said, oh, all right, well, why not? Because there's always calamity, crisis, and chaos. And I said, well, you probably just read the newspaper because that's all they're ever talking about. So, like, if we really want to connect to something, sometimes you have to turn everything off. So, Fox News, the war, all this stuff, opposing sides and who's right, who's wrong, Putin and the rebellion and Prigozhin and like all this like nonsense, right? That's a distraction from what we are supposed to be doing here, right? What we are supposed to be doing here is aligning ourselves. So, like, if you want to be happy, turn off Fox News, right? Turn off Fox News, just turn it off, right? And plug into something else. There's a better, more powerful connection. And really, once we sit here, once we understand that all life has medicine for us to help us alignment, right? There was a conversation I had with a brother yesterday. He's like, well, like I was talking about being all equal, right? And he's like, well, how's a squirrel equal? Well, the squirrel is beautiful, and well, how is like a mole equal to us? Well, okay, here's like, if they have medicine for us, whichever thing they do, that means their alignment is with us, because it's a promotion of life, right? Moles see in the dark. I think that's pretty powerful. I wish I could see in the dark. I can't see anything in the dark. So, but when we sit with mole medicine, when we offer gratitude and thank you, then we're able to see those things, spiritual things that we weren't able to see before. That's what makes us all equal. They bring us medicine to help us, and it was supposed to help them by honoring them and love them. Squirrels to the ants to everything. They all have a medicine. They all have a gift for us. And a lot of times, what they do is they help us find our gift, right? So we are surrounded by life that's helping us not only find, supporting our life, like the trees. They're there to help us find our gifts. And right, and check this out. And I need you to write this down. Every day there's a gift for you. Right? So around you. So So don't be work on being less distracted and more alignment. Right. That means sitting in prayer. That means sitting with the trees, with the squirrels, with the sunrise, with all these things that aren't just things. And at the end of all that is really beautiful, powerful. And you know what? They all have a voice and song. They are celebrating us all the time. And we are supposed to be celebrating them all the time. I love you. So this world is not confusing. I think that's what they're saying here, right? Yeah, certain things we have to do, right? Right. Right. And I'm not saying we don't have to be informed about what's happening out there because there's a little information. I'm just saying we don't need to be overwhelmed by it, right? I'm like a 5 minute a week, CNN guy. Just I check in, I'd be like, okay, the world's still in crisis, right? And I'm just like, oh my God, it's like what calamity, crisis, and chaotic situation has that colonial world offered us today? It's just like, oh my God, it's just this place of just like unbelievable. So anyway, oh my God, more things are flooding in, about the heart here. So, and it's okay to listen to the sound listen for and the sound of your own heartbeat, right? I can remember the elders doing that. I remember, there's some female elders after, this beautiful Guatemalan grandmother who I got to sit with frequently down in Miami. One of her medicines was really just beautiful. It's like, when's the last time you heard the sound of your own heartbeat? It's really that simple. Just like put that there, and it brought me to tears. I'm like, nobody ever done that before. So just even just doing this, it brings us to a better place. Right? It brings us to a better place. So, okay, I think we're eventually going to have to wrap this up right here. So, anyway, let's read this one more time. I know I said that just like a couple minutes ago, but it's okay. Our minds will find it hard to rest until we have spoken our heart's truth. So there's a path there. There's something that we can do, that we should do, that we ought to be doing, right? This is not about right and wrong. And the beautiful thing is, and this is coming up a lot lately, like if we do the work today, we feel better today, right? That's the deal. That's the beautiful spiritual world that we live in, right? We do the work today, we sit with, we offer today, we're gratitude, and then we feel right away. This is not like, well, okay, the check's in the mail type thing. No, this is right away. The universe responds instantaneously to gratitude and alignment, right? And so while we're here being alignment, I want you to feel everything that's around you and what's going on, that gentleness, that beautiful gentleness, right? Do you know the sound of gentleness? You can write that down too. Do you know that sound? Do you even know what it feels like? Probably not if you're coming from, from the colonial world. It's just like all this chaos claim, because it covers our ears, covers our sight, covers our hearing and smell from all those things that are aligning us because of, and that looks like, again, just distraction. But when we listen to the sound of serenity, right? That's a beautiful, beautiful, powerful. Okay, so announcements. Okay, Once again, if we are on YouTube, Standing Bear, the author, please go like and subscribe over there. And so plus it's like a library. Everything we've done over here is also over there too. So new men's group. Um, New men's group. So please, I think there's a couple people that asked about it yesterday. I'm not sure if I got around to that, but new men's group happening. Please private message me and I'll send you that information. Also, Journey Through the Seasons. It is a workshop, an intensive workshop with Denise and Elder Denise Miller and myself. We talk about all of these spiritual things. It is not particularly only indigenous. We talk about all levels of spirituality, right? So we talk about teachings from all over the world. It's really a beautiful, powerful thing. It really changes lives. So if you're interested in that, Journey Through the Seasons. So this is the fourth of four. If you want to join us to be part of that, please just let me know, or Denise Miller, and we will sign you up for that. I think that's it. I kept that a little short. The final word is this ceremony may end, but the ceremony in you does not end. So we take what we lived here and learned here, loved here, and listened to here, and take it out to the four winds. It's not, does it's no good to be all spiritual here if we don't take it out there. That means go far beyond hitting that share button and sharing what we are doing here. That means carry it here in your heart, carrying it to those places, every place that you go. Okay, my name is Kanipa with Macquarie, Standing Bear, and if no one said that they love you today, I love you very much. Let's have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.